Start now.
Good evening, guests and fellow Toastmasters. A warm welcome to the meeting, number 1, the pre-charter meeting of the Gabbys Toastmaster Club. I am TM Abigail, your SAA for today. I'm sure you are excited as I am. The meeting will be blocked for 2 hours and you are expected to stay for 2 hours. Before we start the meeting, I want to highlight some key points. Your video should be on and audio should be off. Audio should be on only when you are called to speak or need to speak. Regarding the topics of sex, religion, and politics, even though the Toastmaster International does not put any restrictions on speaking on these topics, at the Gabbys Toastmaster Club, however, we request all the speakers and role takers to be mindful and responsible and abstain from expressing any controversial views on these sensitive topics. Also urge you to be cognizant of the fact that cognizant of the fact that we as a club practice diversity and inclusion in letter and in spirit. Hence, ensure there is no sexist, racist, or any such undertones which create hostility and discomfort for members or guests. Let me now call upon the presiding officer for the meeting, TM Nagesh Ramamurthy. He's a teacher, trainer, and coach in the domain of construction. He has trained over 7,500 plus professionals in the last decade. Within his coaching, he has impacted over 500 plus professionals' lives. In addition, with his experience of over 3 decades, he is a consultant who checks the health of the occupied buildings. Handing over to presiding officer, TM Nagesh Ramamurthy.
Toastmaster Nagesh, yeah, you can take the stage ahead.
Thank you so much. I was little out of network zone. Good evening, Toastmasters. Thank you for bringing me onto the stage. It is my pleasure, privilege that I am on the stage today, doing the presidential address for the first pre-charter meeting of the Gabbys Online Toastmasters. Please put your hands together while we start this meeting number 1. Thank you. I want to leave you with this thought. Just look at yourself. Those of you who wear spectacles, what is your power of right eye and the left eye? Are they same? It is also said that our ears, both the ears, are not at the same level. For many, the eyebrows are also not in the same level. I'm also told by a lot of medical practitioners that the toes of both the feet are not of the same length. The body mass index of yourself today is not the same as how you were born. Are we perfect? Just think about it. No, we are not. Why do we look at imperfections in others? Is it necessary? In my field, when I started my career, imperfection had its own beauty. Those of you who remember old households, the flooring used to be called as mosaic. What is mosaic? It's broken pieces, glued together, polished well to look so beautiful. Years changed. We have imperfections everywhere. In one of my projects, a glass pane broke. The architect loved it so much. He said, break all the panes. And the whole office looked so different from her original design. And everybody appreciated it. Sometimes imperfection has its own advantages. Let's not go there looking at imperfections. Let's look at how they enhance our lives. With that, I now want to bring somebody on the stage who has been, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, Toastmaster Nagesh, you are audible. You can continue. Yes. I think there is some technical glitch at Toastmaster Nagesh's side. And
I'm not able to hear.
we can hear you, Toastmaster Nagesh. You can speak. Okay, let me message him. He can speak. I think the chats are not enabled. Before we we get back Toastmaster Nagesh, let me take over. And Toastmaster Nagesh was continuing with the concept of today's theme. Let me continue over that. And when he resumes back, we can again start with him. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am your Toastmaster of the day. Today, we are going to explore an ancient philosophy that has become increasingly relevant in our modern, fast-paced world. Yeah, it's called WABI-SABI. WABI-SABI, have you heard of it? Anyone of you? Yes, WABI-SABI is a Japanese aesthetic concept that values imperfection, transience, and the beauty of simplicity. So let's dive in and explore the world of WABI-SABI. Before that, I just want to check if Toastmaster Nagesh is audible and he wants to say something as a presiding officer. Toastmaster Nagesh, are you there?
Vijay, I think we've lost him. You can continue.
Yeah, that's okay. So before diving into and exploring the world of WABI-SABI, I would like to introduce you to the structure of today's meeting. Today, the Toastmasters meeting is divided into two sections. One is the prepared speech section and the other one is the general evaluation section. Because of the time constraint, we are not having the table topic section today. Please note there will be no table topic section for today. Now, coming back to the theme, WABI-SABI. If anyone wants to say something, like if you know or if you have any idea of it, I would like to hear from you as well. If anyone is interested, you can come up and speak. Okay, maybe this is a new concept. I'll proceed. In simpler terms, I must say, WABI-SABI is a process of finding beauty in the imperfect world. Yes, we have to find the beauty in this imperfect world. It's about appreciating things that are real and also unpretentious, and not just focusing on perfection and newness all the time. Unlike the Instagram pictures, we have to find the beauty in imperfect things. So why is this important? Isn't it? This is important so that we don't chase perfection. Perfection is an illusion. The idea of perfection is not real. After all, what is perfection? It's always measured with respect to some other object, or it is measured with respect to some individual ideas. Whereas progress is real. Let us proceed with this in mind. Perfection is illusion and progress is real. And have a wonderful Toastmasters meeting ahead. Before we start with the prepared speech session, let me call the general evaluator for today. Please welcome Toastmaster Dhwani. Toastmaster Dhwani Adesira is the Vice President, membership of the Gabbys Toastmaster Club. She is 2 Triple Crown winner and a pathbreaker. She is also a personality development coach by profession, an artist by heart, and a period educator by choice. Toastmaster Dhwani, I request you to introduce your role and your team. Over to you, Toastmaster Dhwani.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Vijaya. Well, I must say, what an amazing selection of theme, WABI-SABI, which means finding perfection in imperfections. A really great theme, and I'm really excited to see what you're going to bring on the table with the theme today. With that, hello everybody, and I am your general evaluator for today. Now, for those who don't know what general evaluator is, a general evaluator is someone who evaluates the whole meeting from the starting till the end. And this evaluation cannot be done alone by me. I have a team with me who helps me to enhance and build and have a great meeting ahead with constructive feedback. So with that, let me start with my first team member, the timer for today. Toastmaster Madiha Shah. She is an educator, a life enthusiast, and a passionate life coach. She has an enriched experience of teaching in the most prestigious schools. She further turned her passion into profession to become a certified image consultant and life coach. Being an educator is her niche, and her niche is student skill development. Over to you, timer, for today to introduce your role.
Know the true value of time. Snatch it, seize it, and enjoy every moment of it. A very warm good evening, Honorable Toastmasters, Madam Toastmaster Dhwani, who is the General Evaluator, and fellow Toastmasters, and each and every guest. It's a pride and privilege to take this task today. As per the theme, I'm wearing my best accessory today, the favorite one, which is my smile. And by serendipity, I became an image consultant while I was just practicing as a soft skills trainer. So today I'm going to time all the formal speeches and the evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have, the time that is left with them, using the green, yellow, and the red cards that would denote specific times remaining. Now, coming to the speeches, we would have the icebreaker speech, first of all, and that would be between 4 to 6 minutes. At 4 minutes, I would show the green card. At 5 minutes, I would show the yellow card. And if at all the need be, at 6 minutes, I would start showing the red card. The prepared speeches would be 5 to 7 minutes each. And again, the same process would follow. At 5 minutes, I show the green card. At the 6th minute, the yellow. And the 7th minute, if need be, the red. So please mind your time, everyone. And the evaluations also would be 2 to 3 minutes each, where again, the cards would be shown in the similar sequence. And also, there would be a grace period for each speaker. That would be 30 seconds. I wish each one of the speakers a very warm and comfortable evening, and my best wishes are with you. I shall be back when called upon by the general evaluator. Thank you so much and best of luck.
Thank you so much, Timer, for explaining your role. With that, let me call my second team member, the R counter for today. Today's R counter is Toastmaster Abigail. She is a dedicated educator and a researcher. She's an alumni of St. Stephen's College. She has specialized in modern history. She's worked with NITI projects with the Piramal Foundation as a content developer. She is a foodie. She is an arid reader. She is a movie buff, an abstract artist, and a huge introvert as well. I call upon Toastmaster Abigail to introduce herself and the role for today.
Greetings, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the R counter is to note words, sounds that are used as a crutch or pause fillers by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds, including I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of the times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Abigail, for introducing your theme. Let me call upon the grammarian for today. Our grammarian is Toastmaster Shefali. Now, Toastmaster Shefali is a certified coach, soft skills trainer, and an image consultant. She has over 13 years of corporate experience in developing people, processes, and organizations. Over to you, Toastmaster Shefali.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dhwani. Let me just explain my role to you. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As a grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. So the word of today is serendipity. The meaning of serendipity is the fact of finding something valuable or interesting by accident, or something pleasant that happens by chance. As our theme for today is WABI-SABI, and where we are finding perfection in imperfection, I hope we can also find something interesting by accident. If you were to use this word, just the usage would be, it was by serendipity that I found a $100 bill on the sidewalk. Over to you, Toastmaster General Evaluator Dhwani.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shefali, for that word of the day. With that, let me call upon the listener for today, Toastmaster Srilakshmi. She is a certified image consultant and a soft skills trainer by profession. Her interest in public speaking and leadership skills made her join Toastmasters. Over to you, Toastmaster Srilakshmi, for your role.
Thank you, G.E. Dhwani. To be a good speaker, we need to be a good listener as well. As a listener, I will make note of important points. At the end, I will come back with the questions for listening rounds. Hope everyone are ready, right? Everyone are ready, right, with questions? No, everyone are listening, right? Over to you, G.E.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Srilakshmi. With that, I come to the end of the introduction of my team. And my team and I will come back to you once the meeting is half done. So back to you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dhwani. Friends, Toastmasters, before we proceed, let me introduce you a very good friend of the Gabbys and our very special guest. She is now more a family than a guest. She's in our room, and she has posted a message, and I would like to read her message. Thank you, Toastmaster Madam. My name is Dina. I have been in the Toastmasters Club for about 29 years. I am from D96 Oshawa Moose, and I am getting every day in evolving more strong and powerful by becoming a good speaker with this club, along with my disability. So the entire meeting is very good and the people are very good. Thank you, Diana, for your sweet message. We love you too. Now, coming back to the theme of the day. Let's continue. Today, we will have a chance to practice our communication and leadership skills while embracing the WABI-SABI philosophy. We will have several prepared speeches and evaluations, all designed to help us improve our abilities while appreciating the imperfections and beauty of our fellow Toastmasters. When we come back after speech session, let us see how the concept of WABI-SABI can be applied in our day-to-day lives. Okay, so if you have anything to share how the WABI-SABI has made a difference in your lives, be ready to share when we come back. So let's begin with prepared speeches. Before I call upon the first speaker, I would like to call the evaluator of the first speaker, Toastmaster Sakshi Goel. Toastmaster Sakshi Goel loves to explore and learn different languages, and particularly she loves teaching French. In the past, she has worked with the French embassy in New Delhi. Toastmaster Sakshi, please explain the objectives of your target speaker. Toastmaster Sakshi, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, she's just joined back. I think she's having some technical glitch. Just wait for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, no problem. I can read out the.
Yeah, she's joined. You can call her again.
Yeah. Toastmaster Sakshi, if you have joined back, can you please read out the project details of your target speaker?
Yes, thank you for allowing me to read the project guidelines for Toastmaster Yajna. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce themselves to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. Timer, please note that the time allotted for this speech is 4 to 6 minutes. Back to you, TMOD of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sakshi. Now, before calling upon to speak, let me introduce you our first speaker for today, Toastmaster Yajna. Yajna is a journalism and mass communication student from Delhi University. She is passionate about writing engaging content that helps brands connect with their audience. Having some project-based experience with this already, she is now seeking permanent employment in this field. Toastmaster Yajna, who am I? Who am I? Toastmaster Yajna.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. So before I start off my speech, I'd like to ask you one simple question. How many of you have been interested to pursue your hobbies further? You can show me with a raise of your hand. Wow, that's quite a number. So I believe that moving forward, getting to know someone, you have to first know their hobbies, their aspirations and goals. And once you know that, you are halfway through that. So let me tell you a little bit about myself and give you a glimpse about who I am. I am an avid traveler who loves exploring new places, going to new places, immersing myself into diverse culture, and exploring some hidden gems are my all-time favorite things to do. Whether it is hiking on a mountain or strolling through some streets or even trying out different cuisines, traveling gives it to me all. Traveling broadens our horizons and helps us look at the world we live in from a very different point of view. Don't you think so? Apart from traveling enthusiast, I am a passionate photographer by heart as well. That is the reason I joined journalism and mass communication as a course. So, photography has always been my hobby. I'm not pursuing it professionally, but that is something which I do on a daily basis. I capture each and every moment of my life as much as I can. Not because I'm addicted to my mobile, but definitely because I like capturing them so that they can last with me lifelong and I can cherish them whenever I want. Photography also gives me the power to make people see the world from a very different point of view from my lens. One thing which actually motivated me to have this interest in photography is how photographers work. They capture everything around them, and everything has a certain story to itself. You look at a simple picture, there'll be thousands of thoughts, and every person would perceive the same picture in a very different manner, which tells us about how different we are as people. The third thing which I love the most, and I just cannot do without is makeup. Since I was a little kid, I have always gained interest in how beautiful girls look, how beautiful people look after they apply makeup. That's how I gained my interest on applying makeup the correct way. I used to watch videos, I still watch them, and I've learned that throughout. It gives me the confidence to how actually I'm able to present myself. It gives me the confidence to present myself in the way I want to be. Now, apart from all of these hobbies, I also have some certain ambitious aspirations and goals set out for my life. And one of them being, I want to impact other people's life in a positive way. Not only because I'm a people's person and I like talking to people and I like interacting with them, but because I've imagined and I have seen how I want to be in future. And when I talk to people now and solve their issues or even help them in howsoever way I can, it gives me immense joy. Every day is a growing and learning stage for me. And every day is a day I learn something new. Every day I get out of my bed and strive to do some certain things, my daily goals. Yes, not every day am I able to achieve them, but at least I strive to. And my passion and my profession should go hand in hand is my one aim goal, the ultimate goal of my life. I should be able to put my love for traveling, photography, makeup, and impacting people's life in a positive way, along with what I do for a living. Growing and learning are both a part and parcel of life. And with this, I think that growing is a lifelong journey. You can be the Prime Minister of India and still have a lot of things to grow and still have a lot of things to learn as well. And I strive every single day to expand my knowledge, to broaden my horizons, and to learn new techniques. And the most and very important thing which I work on myself every single day is how I have to get out of my comfort zone and achieve the goal I aim to. Joining the Toastmasters Club and speaking today in front of all of you is one step I'm taking towards stepping out of my comfort zone. So here I am. Thank you so much. Back to you, TMOD.
Yes, an amazing speech, Yajna, and a wonderful way of telling us who you are. As part of the tradition of our club, we give standing ovation to this icebreaker speech, and I request everyone to give standing ovation to Toastmaster Yajna. Now, before proceeding to the next speaker, I would like to call upon the evaluator of my speaker, evaluator of myself, the evaluator of TMOD of the day, Nancy Goel. Toastmaster DTM Nancy Goel is my evaluator, and I apologize for not calling you upon. Firstly, to introduce you, evaluator DTM Nancy Goel, please read out the project objectives of me as the TMOD today.
Good evening, everyone. Toastmaster Vijayalakshmi here is attempting level 4 project 1, manage online meetings. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice facilitating an online meeting or leading a webinar. In order to complete this evaluation, the member must attempt a webinar or an online meeting, especially facilitate an online meeting. The member will deliver a well-organized meeting or webinar. Depending on the type, the member would facilitate a discussion between others or disseminate information to attendees at the session. The member should use excellent facilitation and public speaking skills. Since we are already into the meeting, I've already started making notes of her evaluation points. I'll come back to you towards the end of the meeting with my evaluation when called upon by the chief. Thank you and all the best to Toastmaster Vijaya.
Thank you, DTM Nancy. My fellow Toastmasters and guests, I also want to introduce my evaluator to you all. She is an EduCom lead, District 92, and a past area director, Area E2, District 92. Outstanding Toastmaster awardee and a District 92. She is also a Grand Slam Master Mentor awardee, a certified image consultant, and a personal branding coach. Vice President Education of the Gabbys Toastmaster Club right now. Please put your hands together for my evaluator as well. And now I will move on to the next speech. So before calling upon the next speaker, I would like to call the evaluator of the next speaker, none other than DTM Sourav Dutta. DTM Sourav Dutta is a charter member and club sponsor of the Gabbys Toastmaster Club. He has been a director and in other senior leadership roles also, like Target, JCPenney, and Hewlett Packard. Currently, the founder and director of an edutech startup and also the vice president of marketing and business development at an analytics startup. He is a distinguished Toastmaster, fastest DTM of the District 92, and winner of several Toastmasters awards like Outstanding Toastmaster and Grand Slam Master Mentor. He is current Division Director of Division B, District 92, Toastmasters International. Toastmaster Sourav Dutta, please provide the objectives of your target speaker.
So the target speaker is attempting the project Effective Body Language, which is a level 1 project. The purpose of this project is for the member to deliver a speech with awareness of intentional and unintentional body language, as well as to learn, practice, and refine how he or she uses non-verbal communication when delivering a speech. During the completion of this project, the member has spent time learning about and practicing his or her body language, including gestures and other non-verbal communication. About this speech, the member will present a well-organized speech on any topic. I would be watching for the member's awareness of his or her intentional and unintentional movement and body language. I would be noting any distracting movements as well as movements that enhance the speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. The speech is not a report on the content of the Effective Body Language project. Some of the parameters that I would be looking out for in particular: clarity, vocal variety, eye contact, gestures, audience awareness, comfort level, interest, unintentional movement, or rather the lack of it, and purposeful movement during the course of the speech. All the best to the target speaker. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, DTM Sourav Dutta. Now, let me introduce you, our second speaker, Toastmaster Devayani. Her dad would describe her as the jack of all trades and master of none. She always felt this statement was made for her itself. Toastmaster Devayani Nair is currently pursuing her bachelor's degree in political science and economics. She loves to talk more, and that is the reason behind choosing this degree. She loves dancing and have frequently participated in the college fest. Toastmaster Devayani, fair but not so lovely. Fair but not so lovely, Toastmaster Devayani.
So last weekend, I was watching the popular Netflix show with my mother, The Indian Matchmaking. Mumbai's top matchmaker, Seema Taparia, a flag bearer for casteism, superstitious beliefs around marriage, and normalizing fat phobia and catchphrases like fair, trim, slim, and educated. I was shocked. This is 2023 we are living in. And the word that caught my attention was fair. Why are we Indians so obsessed with fairness? Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. When I was born, my grandmother called my grandfather and she was like, a girl is born. She is dark complexion. You better prepare her for the future. My skin color was extremely concerning for my grandmother. A lot has changed with how I look now, but as a kid, I was constantly taunted as I was darker than some of my relatives. Anytime someone would call me dark, my fair-skinned grandmother would correct them and say I was wheatish, one of the many sugar-coated words in India for brown skin. It was her way of comforting herself that her granddaughter was a tad bit higher in the hierarchy than truly dark people. During a trip to a North Indian village, an old woman walked up to me and she said, every morning at 5 a.m., you should drink a half cup of fresh, non-boiled cow milk and the complexion of your to-be child will be fair. I just plastered a smile on my face. I was just about 10 years old then. Apply gram flour, milk, and turmeric on her face daily, my mother was told when I was a kid. So I would not look like a Madrasi anymore. Madrasi refers to a person from the southern city of Chennai. And North Indians are typically lighter skinned than South Indians who live in hotter climates. But my grandmother likes to believe that people in Kerala are supposed to have lighter skin than most South Indians. So I did a little research on this. Kerala is not as hot as its neighbors all year round. Yes, summers can be stifling, but it is not as bad as the nearby states. We get plenty of rain with the monsoon visiting us twice a year. Our soil is very fertile and the agricultural crop is really good, which means that we tend to consume very, very healthy diets. And there is no dearth of potable water. This goes a long way in the texture of our skin and hair. But the most interesting fact was that intercultural marriages have played an important role in this. Kerala was a trading hub for both local and international trade. So they had all the traders from all the lands coming in, and a lot of them married local women. So this way, through the years, more Keralites ended up with fairer skin tones, if you would say, than their South Indian counterparts. I spent my life, my childhood, my teenage years having zero confidence and low self-esteem, thanks to the incidents I faced. But I suppose it wasn't my fault because it is actually how we have been brought up and taught at schools, especially now with media, that fairer is better. It is how in our minds it has been polluted by the unfair advertisements that are shown 24/7 on our television screens, as well as the cultural misunderstanding that being beautiful is about having a fair complexion. We are accustomed to listening to stories from our elders, the tales of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, all put discrimination against darker skin tones and preaching and propagating what you would say colorism. What do you do to people who are always in search for that fair-skinned bride or partner in their life and rejecting those who are dark-skinned? So I finally decided to go against the tide and take a stand against this biased attitude. I decided to dedicate my efforts to the much needed change we all strive for in society. I decided to spread the message of diversity, uniqueness, and respecting differences in settings I have a voice in. Fair skin has long been part of India's national psyche. It is common in our country to associate it with beauty. Ironically, most Indians are dark-skinned, yet it is the skin that determines the factors of our success. Is it something to be ashamed of? And if a few of us do have lighter skin complexion because of our inherited genes, does it make them special? It's a big no to both. Campaigns like Unfair and Lovely invited women to post their pictures on social media to celebrate Dusky. I am glad to say that we are finally waking up to the fact that the color of your skin, the size of your body, or the number of your age does not define what makes you beautiful. It is only who you are from inside, the fire you have in your belly, and the kindness you bestow upon others, and the impact you make on society and people. And that is what makes you stand out. Thank you.
Wow, what a lovely speech, Toastmaster Devayani. I totally agree with you. The inner beauty is most important. Now, moving on to the next speech. Before I call the speaker, the evaluator of the third speaker, Toastmaster Karthik, and also a history and a movie buff as well. He loves storytelling and listening to music. He always tries to be the best version of project objective of your target speaker.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. My fellow Toastmasters and guests, I will be evaluating my target speaker, Toastmaster Jyothi, who is attempting her Project 3 from Level 2 of Strategic Relationship Path. And the title of this project is Introduction to Toastmaster Mentoring. The purpose of this project is for the member to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring and share some aspect of a previous experience as a protege. The speech should not be a report on the content of the Introduction to Toastmaster Mentoring project. Timer, please note the speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. So Toastmaster Jyothi, I wish you all the best for this project and I hand over it back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Karthik. Now let me introduce you, our third speaker, before I call upon to speak, Toastmaster Jyothi Mandal. So, Jyothi Mandal is working in Post 5 Intelligence Analytics Company. By passion, she is a health coach and a nutrition advisor. She helps people in weight management and lifestyle issues reversal. Toastmaster Jyothi, you are born to stand out. You are born to stand out, Toastmaster Jyothi.
I cannot see the timer.
We'll spotlight the timer. Once it's 5 minutes, you'll get to see the timer.
Am I audible and visible? How many of you feel that you're born to stand out? Raise your hand. Good. Many of them. Right. Thank you. My mentor always makes me feel that I'm born to stand out. Every time I transform one life, he makes me feel that I'm born to create impact. Good evening, Toastmasters and my dear guests. The basic definition of a mentor is someone who trusts us and who advises us, who motivates and can give proper guidance, right? So when I reflected this on my own life, I realized that in last few years, my life has been beautifully shaping up with the help of my mentor. There are plenty of people whom I admire, I take advices, I do brainstorm, and they all came in different phases of my life. A few years ago, when I finished my graduation in 2017, I had tremendous amount of energy, but I didn't know how to channelize my energy. I stepped on multiple boats like modeling, yoga, gymnastics, MC course, belly dance, and many more along with my IT job. But then I soon decided to turn my passion into profession. And I collaborated with a community it is into preventive healthcare domain, and where they are working towards a cause of obesity-free nation. And there I was assigned with a mentor. Because of his mentorship, today I'm at the best version of myself. He has molded me, he has supported me, motivated me, and he has helped me to learn content creation skills, personal branding, leadership skills, people skills, and how to help people, how to do consultations, and many more things. And just because of his mentorship, today I could transform, in last 3 years, I could transform more than 300 plus lives. And every time I transform one life, he makes me feel that you're born to stand out, Jyothi. You're born to create impact. Moving fast forward, in Toastmasters, in 2020 October, I joined Toastmasters in 2020 October, and initially I was exuberant to deliver speeches, to participate in club contest roles and area contest roles. But slowly I observed that there was a dip in momentum. Because of hectic schedule, I was not attending the meetings, and I was losing interest. I was not doing what I want. But it's been almost 3 years. I couldn't even finish a pathway yet. And it's last 8 months, I didn't deliver any speeches. But something interesting happened in last 2 months. So my club announced a Division H club contest, and I decided to participate. But it was very difficult for me because as I didn't deliver any speeches for last 8 months, I thought, how will I participate in the contest? So as I'm the VP education of my club, we all know that VP education role is to say open roles. So I also messaged in the VP education group about a table topic master. And luckily, a Toastmaster said, yes, I'm available. So he is Sourav Dutta. And when he attended the meeting in my club, he spilled some kind of magic in the meeting. I was amazed to see that how he could make a newbie to talk for 2 minutes where she couldn't even talk for 30 seconds as she's a newbie. But he made her to talk. That's where I just thought, what if I take my mentorship from him? And as I decided to participate in the club contest, I just reached out to him saying, can you please mentor me? So he invested his time in me, and I thought to make him feel worth investing his time in me. So we sat for just few days before the contest. We sat at around 10 p.m. and virtually till 11:30 p.m. He helped me with the content of my speech, delivery of the speech, body language, expressions, and he made sure everything goes perfect. And guess what? I participated in the contest and I won the club contest. And I got first runner-up in area contest. In both speech and table topics. And I reached till division contest. Remember, until then, for last 8 months, I didn't deliver any speeches. It was a bit difficult, but just because of his mentorship, I could do that. That's what a Toastmaster, that's how mentorship can help a Toastmasters to grow. And he asked me, what is your goal in Toastmasters? I said, I want to become a good public speaker, want to talk confidently in front of the crowd. And he said, and I also said, I want to perform on TEDx stage. That is one of my goals. He said, definitely you will. And I'm sure with his mentorship, I will. Thank you. Over to you, TMOD.
Wonderful speech. Many more lives. On to next. So, the next speaker, I would like to call the evaluator of Speak Toastmaster Nagesh, the speaker of today. Toastmaster Nagesh, I give the project objectives of your target speaker.
Thank you, TMOD. Am I audible?
Nagesh has joined back in the meeting.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
you are audible.
Our next speaker is talking about a speech on negotiate the best outcome. Level 3 project 3 speech. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn about different types of negotiation and the strategies that can be used when negotiating. During the project completion, the member has spent time learning about different negotiation styles and strategies. He has reflected upon the past and future negotiations in his life. So the purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspects of the past or future negotiation in his life. All the best to the speaker. The duration would be 5 to 7 minutes. Back to you, TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nagesh. Am I audible? Okay. So now it's time to call the fourth speaker of the day, Toastmaster Tarun. Toastmaster Tarun Kumar is a supply chain professional having 12 years of experience. Currently, he is working in lab research and he is Toastmaster from 1.5 years. Toastmaster Tarun, I need to work upon negotiation. I need to work on negotiation, Toastmaster Tarun.
Is my voice visible? Is my voice audible? And am I visible?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You are audible.
In negotiation, I am a learner. Papa, is it sunny outside? My 3-year-old son said. I knew what to come. I nodded my head, indicating it is not sunny. Go out to roam around? It was the second question to me. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. This speech is about negotiation, a skill I need to learn and practice. We got ready within minutes, and my 3-year-old son was leading me. Once we came out of the house, he was certain to go in a particular direction. In that direction, there was a famous shop, and the shop has different chocolates available. My son grabbed few of his favorites. I asked, can we get only one? No, he said. It was a scream. I gave a bunch of the chocolates and returned home. Somewhere I read it that it is compromising negotiation technique, where I was letting my son to win. If we see, earlier I was in accommodating when I was listening to my son and allowing him to to go to the shop. When I was returning home, I asked, can I get a small piece of chocolate? The response was evident. And I felt somewhere my 3-year-old kid used competitive negotiation technique where he went for all win. And this time the win was for chocolates. And I went and get nothing. Again, the angry voice shattered my thoughts. It was my better half. Why can't you negotiate with a 3-year-old kid? She was definitely frustrated. I started reflecting. I can't say no to kids. It's very tough for me. I can't negotiate with shopkeepers even for the price. But I felt it is a high time for me to learn. We don't eat chocolates every day. We eat sometimes. Her calm voice has an impact on the 3-year-old kid. I saw him and repeating the sentence. I heard somewhere the example of collaborative technique. I saw at that point of time, that was my serendipity moment. I started slowly moving to a different room. I had enough for my day. I learned there are different negotiation techniques on the very single day. Let us never negotiate out of fear. Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. It is a famous quote of John F. Kennedy, a famous American president. Negotiations are part of life. We do negotiate every day, in and day out. We negotiated with our parents when we asked for chocolates. We negotiated with employers when we asked for better compensation, better packages, comparing the skills that we have. If I look back for the whole day, I can see there were 4 negotiation techniques: accommodating, compromising, competing, and my favorite one, collaborative. These negotiation techniques can be used in different ways. So there is a question for us. Should we use one of the negotiation technique? I recommend to use bunch of the negotiation technique, because when we move in any situation, there may be requirement that we use couple of negotiation techniques. It is a skill that I am learning and started practicing. I hope I will start evolving slowly. To rephrase again, we should be using these negotiation techniques in combination of in our day-to-day life. I recommend everyone here to think about the 4 negotiation techniques I talked about and use it in different combinations effectively. I conclude my speech. Thank you, and over to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Wow. An amazing and interesting speech, Toastmaster Tarun. Timer, could you please let us know if all the speakers were in time? time, ma. Unmute yourself.
Yes, congratulations. Up till now, all the speakers have been right on time. Shall I tell you the time used or it will be later? They were just bang on.
Later.
Yeah,
We
they were
can
just
do it
bang
later.
on. Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. Please note there will be no polling for the best speaker as we have an icebreaker speech today. Next session, let us dig a bit more about the WABI-SABI. WABI-SABI, with its focus on simplicity, authenticity, increasingly consumerism and materialism dominate. The WABI-SABI philosophy encourages us to slow down, appreciate the natural beauty around us, and find joy in the present moment. Let us help ourselves.
Our TMOD is facing network glitches. I
Hmm.
think it's time we hand it over to General Evaluator for proceeding
I'm
on
here.
with the
Am I audible?
evaluations.
Am I audible?
Vijay, I think you check for a backup device. In the meanwhile, Dhwani can take over as General Evaluator for
Sure,
the
sure,
next section.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm back with my general evaluation. Before I give out my evaluation, I would like to call upon the evaluator 1 to give out the guidelines and the evaluation of the speaker 1.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Dhwani, for allowing me to present my evaluation of Toastmaster Yajna's speech. I implore all of you to honestly remark how many of you felt that Toastmaster Yajna had a great opening. I would like a raise of hands for the same. How many of you felt that her language and her vocabulary was top-notch? I would like a raise of hands. So Toastmaster Yajna, I congratulate you on delivering a great speech. We learned 4 different facets of your personality. We learned 4 different things that you are highly interested in. A, being traveling, B, being photography, C, being makeup, and the 4th being connecting with people. What you could have done to take it to an even better level would have been a structure. If you announced right in the beginning, I'm going to tell you about 4 things about my personality, that would have developed an expectation in the mind of the audience members. That point number 1 is there, point number 2 is there, 3 and 4. That helps the listeners navigate themselves through your speech. Again, I really appreciate your language. I really appreciate the things that you put across on the table in terms of your speech. What you could have done even better was to present a connecting thread. For example, the connecting thread could have been creativity. In your introduction, you could have spoken about how you are a creative person at heart and how photography, traveling, makeup, and socializing with people are all different facets of the same thing. Speaking about the conclusion, you could have also, again, taken up a theme like Ikigai. Because you were trying to look for a vocation in which you could combine all 4 of these elements, all four passions, and at the same time meant money. So you could have taken different approaches to present yourself and present the 4 facets of your life in an even more interesting way. Although I congratulate you heartily on a job that you did, because there's so many people who freeze on stage, you were not one of them. There were so many people who use crutch words, who blank out, you were not one of them. So I really heartily congratulate you on taking up this initiative and delivering it in a very good way. Thank you for giving us the opportunity, and thank you for giving us this glimpse of your life. I hand back the stage to Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sakshi, for giving such a lovely evaluation. And I adhere to her evaluation. Just one suggestion from my end to the speaker, that you are really great, and coming out as first time, speaking for the first time, giving your icebreaker speech, it takes a lot of courage. So kudos to you for that. Just a slight suggestion, try to speak a bit slowly when you are delivering your speech. Somewhere people tend to get lost if you're speaking really fast. Let people digest what you're speaking. Overall, you had a great speech and a great evaluation. Thank you, Toastmaster Sakshi. With that, let me call upon our second evaluator for today, DTM Sourav Dutta.
Thank you so much. Okay. So, Devayani, so your speech today had the purpose, the project had a purpose of you displaying body language. And the speech that you chose to give is, the purpose of the speech was to create an awareness against racial slurs and racial biases based on skin color. So the story that you selected, the experiences that you narrated, I think they totally help meet the speech objective that you had. You were very successful in telling us, sensitizing us, as making us aware about the negativities that are there around skin color. Okay, quick pause. Madhya, can you change your timer background to blue? So that part is very well done. The other thing I really liked about your speeches, and this is something that I've seen a problem with a lot of speakers attempting this project, the topic that they select is not appropriate for this kind of a project. Now, what is an appropriate topic? Because you're talking about body language, there has to be characters, there has to be plots. And you selected a very beautiful topic. Is it green already, Madhiha? 2 minutes done? No, it's 2 minutes, you have to show green. At 2 minutes green, at 2 minutes 30 seconds yellow, and at 3 minutes red. So, you know, this is something which is very important, and this is what you have done. You have selected a topic which is conducive and which helps in that particular portrayal of the body language. This is important because, you know, it's like if you're trying to cook a chicken biryani, you obviously need chicken, and you need to have that in your recipe, in your menu item, right, before you cook it out. And so that's why you had a very perfect. Now, what you could have done better, number one, if you look at the body language has got 3 components to it. One is posture and position, the way you're standing, where you're standing, how you're looking at the camera. Second is micro expressions. And the third is gestures, your hand movements, etc. As far as your posture and position is concerned, I absolutely loved it. You look very confident on the screen. Now, when it comes to your gestures, there was ample scope in your speech where I would have loved to see you using those gestures. For example, spread the word, right? I rejected it, right? These are some of the things which you could have done with your hands, which you did not do. The other thing is about micro expressions. You had this term, plastered a smile on my face. And you said it like this, I plastered a smile on my face. You have to accentuate that expression. I plastered a smile on my face, right? You will not look so horrible as I am looking when you're doing this. So believe me, you can pull it off really well. Now, apart from this, one more comment I have is on the title of the speech. The moment you say fair and lovely, I think it's kind of something that we can guess what you're going to talk about. Why don't you try a little bit of a more intriguing and a challenging title? Like, for example, not so fair. Wow, so lovely. You know what happens when you use a title like that? You create an interest in the audience. Okay, what is she going to talk about? You keep something for the audience's imagination. Even when you're talking about body language, use yourself and the elements that you are wearing as a prop. For example, you talked about skin color, and the entire speech, I never saw you showing your skin color. That was a very good strategy you could have said. Or something like this, right? Where you show your skin color, make us relate with you as a speaker. So these are some of the tips that I have for you. Great selection of topic, a great narration of a story, great narration of experiences. The topic was selected well because it helped the project objective very well. And the narrations and the stories helped in gaining a credibility to the speaker and the speech. What could have been better? One, there was more scope of using your body language in terms of gestures. The position and posture was perfect, but you could have done definitely a better job with your micro expressions. And finally, this title, try to make it a little intriguing. Don't make it a giveaway so that people can guess the speech even before you start speaking. Good job with this, Devayani. All the best for your next speech. Thank you. Back to you, General.
Thank you so much, DTM Sourav Dutta, for giving such a valuable and such an amazing evaluation. I have nothing more to add to this. To the target speaker, you were really great, and I totally adhere with the evaluation that a great selection of topic. Just use these tips given here and there, and you would do wonders. With that, let me call upon the evaluator 3, Toastmaster Nagesh. No, evaluated Toastmaster Karthik.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Dhwani. Hello, Toastmasters and guests, and to especially my target speaker, Toastmaster Jyothi. You truly stood out with your content of your speech, as your speech content is aligned with the purpose of your project. You started with asking everyone a question, are you born to stand out? And it shows your attempt to engage audience. You had a good body language throughout your speech, good use of hand gestures, vocal variety, and eye contact. Now coming to your purpose of your project, you have two key purposes of your project. First is to share an experience as a protege, and that experience may be from any time of your project, from any time of your life. And you shared an experience of how your mentor helped and encouraged you to stand out by pushing you out of your comfort zone, who motivated you, trusted you, and guided you to reach your goals. With the help of your mentor, you were able to turn your passion to your profession by joining with as you mentioned, like how you joined your healthcare domain, and your mentor helped you to bring the best version of yourself. And with this, you were helped and you were able to transform 300 plus lives. And this is how you shared your experience of being a protege, and you showed your efforts to be a best protege by learning from your mentor. This was your first purpose of your project. Now coming to your second purpose of your project, that is to define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring. And I would like to describe some of the key aspects of Toastmasters mentoring, and I'll outline with your speech content. So the first key aspect of Toastmasters mentoring is supports long-term goals. A mentor is one who supports long-term goals. And you shared like how your mentor supported your long-term goal, and your long-term goal is to be a TEDx speaker. And that is how your mentor is mentoring you to be, or helping you to be achieve your goal. So that is the first key aspect. And the second key aspect is listen to needs. Your mentor listen to needs. And this also describe how your mentor listen to your need, like how you wanted to be a good public speaker, and he is aligned with your needs. So that is another key aspect. So the third key aspect is provides constructive guidance, and he is providing you the constructive guidance, as you also mentioned that. And he also shared, and the other aspect is shares personal experience. And yeah, so said, and I think you also mentioned about how he shared his personal experiences, and that helped you in the journey of Toastmasters. And other key aspect is he aids the protege to make decisions, communicates each week, and help protege practice. I hope this is also being done by your mentor. And this was all about your purpose of your project, and your speech met the purpose of your project. Now, there are some recommendations which would help you to improve in upcoming speech. And one recommendation is if you could have brought in some role play, like how your mentor expressed some things, like with some dialogue or something, it would have added more impact with your speech. Yeah, that is one recommendation I would like to give you. Apart from that, overall a great speech. Your speech completely was motivating, and also your main path is strategic relationship. It also helped us knowing the strategic relationship of your mentor and you. Thank you so much. Overall, a great speech. All the best for your next speech, Toastmaster Jyothi.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Karthik, for giving such a detailed evaluation and a great take. I adhere to you. And to the target speaker, a really great speech. And I liked how you were having your speech was very heartfelt and inspirational. Just a small suggestion from my end that if you want to do any AV check, you can do it before the that 15 minutes buffer time we give before starting the meeting. If you can do it at that point of time, then it would be great, rather than just wasting your time in before giving and before delivering the speech. That's the suggestion from my end. And to the evaluator, a great take on it. Thank you so much. Now, may I call upon the fourth evaluator for today, Toastmaster Nagesh.
Thank you, General Evaluator. I hope I am audible.
Yes.
Papa, are you going out? My daughter used to ask this when I was young. I knew what was coming. And today, when she's grown up, she calls me, Papa, Papa, are you free? I know there's something more coming. Toastmaster Tarun, you started with these talking about your kid. Parents in the house were really hooked at what you started with. Is it sunny outside? Can we just step out from the house? Very well done on capturing the audience when you started with your speech. You took up a character that is your kid, who is just 3 years old, and managing kids has always been a difficult task. Through the story of your kid, you very interestingly brought out the 4 different negotiation skills. You compromise sometimes, you accommodate many times, and sometimes you collaborate as well to do those tasks which are beneficial in nature for everybody. And competition also is one of those negotiation skills which you brought out in a very, very interesting way throughout your speech. What more did I like in your speech was the mention of Kennedy, where he said, never negotiate out of fear and never fear to negotiate. It's a very powerful word in today's parlance. In current times, it is very, very, very impactful. We all need this line very well and apply it in our own lives. That when we negotiate, not negotiate fear. Okay, very well done over there. One area of improvement that I would like you to consider is you took an example of a kid and you went back in your life and gave us this example. I would have loved more if you had taken example in the current or in the future. Maybe a negotiation with an adult, because I come with emotion, have more expectations, and they come with a level of entitlement. So how does that happen? You come across in your life, in your professional or personal life? If given that, there would have been more impactful takeaway for all the adults here, and it would have been a universal takeaway for us. To sum it all, your way you delivered it, wonderfully done, well paced, well at pauses at appropriate places. Presentation of story was very, very well done, except that if it had been a little current relevance to everybody who is there in the house. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nagesh, for giving such a wonderful evaluation. And to the target speaker, a great topic and a great take on your topic with respect to negotiation and how you're managing with your kids. A great take on that. Again, to you, same suggestion. Try to do the AV check before the meeting starts and not while you are speaking. Yes, and I must say that today, all the 4 speeches that we've had, it was so heartfelt, and I want everybody to give a round of applause to the evaluators and to the speakers today. Perfect. Now, with that, let me call upon the last but not the least evaluator, Toastmaster DTM Nancy Goel.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dhwani. Let me quickly spotlight myself as well as my target speaker. Okay, Vijay is not on camera. I'll go ahead as is. Toastmaster Vijay, as I entered the meeting room right before the meeting, I could see you were completely in control. You knew what you were doing. You were checking up with role takers, whether they're joining on time, whether someone is joining the meeting with the correct naming convention and everything. As the meeting proceeded further, I noticed that there was a technical glitch with our presiding officer, Toastmaster Nagesh, and you took over so smoothly, so calmly. I was like, voila, this is something, we want. We want this kind of meeting organizational skills. In fact, if I talk about the pre-meeting checklist, the meeting planning was going on so well. Being the VP education of the club as well, I knew that you were well prepared with the agenda. You ensured that the role takers were briefed. You also ensured that the introductions were shared, also on direct messages. I received my evaluation resource, introduction, and everything needed for this meeting right on time. Talking about all these things, how you planned the meeting, it was superb. I was impressed. Now, if I talk about your project objective, your project says it's about practice facilitating a well-organized online meeting, which means there are two key parameters that I need to take care of as your evaluator. One is technology management, which means conduct a well-run meeting or with limited technical issues caused by the facilitator. And second is organization. Meeting is well organized or not. As we proceeded further, I was expecting myself to be introduced as your evaluator. We had a hiccup there. I think you forgot. In fact, while introducing the theme, WABI-SABI, I noticed that you talked about WABI-SABI, and then you talked about the meeting structure. And then again, WABI-SABI. That's where it was well evident to the entire audience that, yes, you got nervous. The transitions were not smooth. During the further course of the meeting, we felt more technical glitches and a less well-organized meeting. In fact, if I look at the time right now, we are already running a little late on agenda. So talking about these two parameters, I think we have a huge scope of improvement. How could you have improved on these two parameters? When we say technology management, I would have expected you to have a backup, at least a mobile device connected to mobile data or not the same internet from which you're connecting your laptop to, so that during any hiccup like this, you are well prepared. And second, for well-organized meeting, it's always good to internalize the flow of the meeting. This is not the first meeting you are attending in Toastmasters Arena, and then this is not the first meeting you are organizing as TMOD as well. While coming for such a meeting, just ensure that you internalize the flow. Just take care of these two things, and I'm sure your next meeting is going to be well organized and you'll have less of hiccups. Thank you, and I wish you all the best for your upcoming meetings and speeches.
Thank you so much, DTM Nancy, for giving such a organized and such a structured and encouraging evaluation to the speaker. And yes, to my target speaker, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Vijaya, let me give you my evaluation as well. I totally adhere with the evaluation of your evaluator that yes, there were hiccups, and you were prepared before the meeting and after the meeting. You had everything on check. You were messaging people, you were being there, you were making sure that everything was on track. But there were certain hiccups, and again, there is a scope of improvement. You could have spoken a bit more about the theme. And again, like your evaluator mentioned, I would also like to give you the same suggestion that if you could have had a bit of a backup that would have been worked in your favor. Overall, a great meeting, and you managed the meeting really well. I liked your presence of mind as the TMOD for today. A great job done on that. Please give a round of applause to yourself for this. Yes. With that, let me launch the polls of the best evaluator. And at the meantime, let me call upon the timer to share her report.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dhwani. And here I am, and please accept my apologies. It's for the first time that I'm doing it. So I've tried my best, but of course, there's no limit to getting better. So I start with the first speaker. She was the icebreaker, Yajna, which she took precisely 4 minutes and 23 seconds. Devayani Nair took, so this one was 4 to 6 minutes, the icebreaker. Now we come to the remaining 3 speeches. Devayani took 6 minutes and 41 seconds. Jyothi Mandal took exactly 6 minutes. And Tarun Kumar took 6 minutes and 37 seconds. Vijayalakshmi had to speak for 20 to 25 minutes. That was not timed, of course. Coming to the evaluation segment, all were, of course, within time. Sakshi Goel was absolutely within the 3 minutes. She did not require any grace time. Sourav, DTM Sourav also checked me, which was very much appreciated by me. So yeah, he was on time and he used the grace period as well, a bit of the grace period. Karthik was well on time. He also did not use the grace period. Mr. Nagesh was well on time. He did use the grace period. And of course, that is okay. Then Nancy was again on time, but used the grace period. So all of them are like, yes, they were within time. Thank you so much. And I hope I did my duty well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Madiha, for giving us and telling us that everybody were within time. Just a couple of suggestions. Firstly, just read out the time limit. From the next time when you do the timer roll, read out the times. For example, Toastmaster Nagesh took 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Toastmaster Dhwani took 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Read out the time in that manner. And secondly, before taking up the timer roll, try to practice this or do a dry run with your mentor and ask the suggestions and ask certain guidelines with your mentor and the concerned person. If you want to connect with other Toastmasters, you can do that as well. And yeah, you'll be great. And thank you so much for taking up the role. With that, let me call upon the our counter for today to give out her report. Toastmaster Abigail. Toastmaster Abigail, would you please unmute yourself?
Sorry. So I'm the R counter and I would like to share my report. I'll share my screen. Is it visible?
I think now you can try, it will be visible.
So the speech couple of speeches had a lot of passion into it, and I really loved how the process went. There are a couple of us and and mentioned during the speech, which I could observe. That's why I sort of put it in the sheet. So I'll share the sheet with you all in the group. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Abigail. Yes, thank you so much. Now, couple of suggestions for you as well is when you're sharing your screen and we're taking up the R counter role, read out the R's. That, for example, Toastmaster Dhwani took these many R's. You can read out the total, and you can read out how many members. For all the members, you can read out that so and so person took 9 hours. You know the numbers. Read out the number. It will help the other person to understand as well, and you can give out certain tips on how we can omit these things, omit the R word. And for people who have not used any R, you can give some sense of encouragement by saying that, can we have a round of applause for this person who used 0 number of R's? That would have been great. Overall, thank you so much for taking up the role. With that, let me call upon the grammarian, Toastmaster Shefali.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. May I share my screen if you could make me host? Thank you. All right, so I'm going to tell you about the good uses of grammar and the incorrect uses. And while I was doing this, I just came across this excellent quote that says, "Grammar is a piano I play by ear." And I thought I would just share it with you all. The word of the day was not used at all, just twice in the entire session. That once by Madhila and once by Tarun. So I would really encourage you all to use the word of the day. That is how we can build up on our own vocabulary. Some incorrect usages that I found during the session was introduce you. It should be introduced to you. Pronunciation determines. It should be determines. Made her to talk. You could say encouraged to talk, encouraged her to talk, or made her speak. It is a high time. Alternatively, it is high time. And very, very. A lot of good usage of words like, hobbies, aspirations, goals, which is the rule of 3 that was very well used. Avid traveler, disseminate, sugar-coated, plaster a smile, mind is polluted, preaching and propagating, fire in the belly, stepped on multiple boats, spill magic, gracious, and conducive. That is my report for today. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shefali, for taking up the grammarian role. I liked how you made a presentation and you had that quote, so a great take on that. Couple of suggestions is always start with positive. Start with the commendation that what was the good usages in the meeting, and then come to the recommendation part, that where are the people, where you can work on. And yes, you can, when you were introducing your word of the day, you can ask people that for the people, let's encourage others by showing a thumbs up, or whoever uses the word of the day, that can have and you can have that element. Overall, a great report. Thank you so much. With that, let me call upon the last role taker, Toastmaster Srilakshmi, for her listener role.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dhwani. Now I am ready with the questions. Hope everyone are listening to a whole meeting, right? Now it's the time to check out. Who is the special guest in Toastmaster Gabbys meeting?
Diana?
Yes. How long she is in Toastmasters?
29 years.
Yes, yes.
29, I unmuted.
Okay. What are the 4 negotiation skills Toastmaster Tarun told in his speech? 4 styles of negotiation skills. 4 different negotiation styles. Can anyone tell?
Accommodating, compromising,
Collaborative, competitive, accommodative, and compromising.
Awesome, great. How old is Toastmaster Tarun's son?
3 years.
Yeah. Who can't live without makeup?
The first speaker.
Yajna which?
What
Toastmaster
is-
Yajna which? Yajna which?
Yajna.
Yeah. And who loves capturing pictures?
Also Yajna.
Yeah. Which degree Toastmaster Devayani is pursuing current? Right.
3.
A bachelor's.
Yeah, bachelor's. On which subject she is pursuing?
Economics or political science, something like that. I forget.
It's political science and economics. How long Toastmaster Jyothi is in Toastmasters?
8 months.
When she joined in the beginning?
2020.
Yeah.
20.
When Toastmaster Jyothi completed her graduation?
2017.
Yes. What are you, G. Dhwani?
Thank you so much, listener, for taking up the listener role and doing it so well. Can we have a round of applause? And you really had some great questions which kept people thinking. Just a suggestion, since we are running out of time, just try to include 5 questions, not more than that. With that, let me quickly give out the polls for the best auxiliary role taker. And at the meantime, let me give you my general evaluation. So the meeting started 2 minutes late. So by the SA, and that was the start of the meeting, we started a bit late. So try to make sure that the meeting starts on time. And if you have any questions or queries, then do it before the meeting, maybe half an hour before the meeting, or be really clear about whatever role you're taking. Try to be a bit more mindful of that. When it comes to the essay, a great start on taking up the essay role. I liked how you introduced the essay part and what are the meeting, and you went ahead. Just a suggestion that try to bring a bit more of excitement, because essay is the one who starts the meeting, and if you start the meeting in high note, people would really feel that energy. With that, let me come to the presiding officer for today, Toastmaster Nagesh. Thank you so much for picking up this role. And as the PO, though you had your technical glitch, but you were there and you were taking up that role. So a great take on that. Just a suggestion is, if you could have made sure that, your networks and your technical aspect was a bit clear, if you would have kept a check on that, it would have been great, because you were talking about the theme, but as the PO, you somewhere you missed starting the meeting, and and somewhere you missed out telling the guidelines of the Toastmasters meet that we are doing today, which was, this is a pre-charter meeting of our club. So if you could have mentioned something of that why we are meeting today and what is the Gabbys meeting for today, that would have been great. Overall, thank you so much for taking up the role as the PO. TMOD evaluation I've already done, and to the speakers and evaluators as well, I have already done. The meeting went well, though we had our glitches and though we were having a lot of technical issues, but we managed to pull the meeting, and thank you, TMOD, for doing that. And thank you all the role takers for coming up and doing justice to the meeting today. This meeting would not have been possible without each one of you. So please give a round of applause to all of you. Overall, a great meeting. I enjoyed the meeting. In fact, the theme was also very amazing, very interactive, and we could have spoken a much more about the theme. Nevertheless, thank you so much for having me as the general evaluator, and I hand over the stage back to the presiding officer.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, General Evaluator. We'll close the meeting in another 2 minutes, please. Hold on. There's one poll which has come up on your screen. Please take that quickly. Can somebody make me the co-host? Yes. Can somebody make me the co-host, please? Thank you. Toastmasters, what a wonderful pre-charter meeting of this new club we have today. 4 speakers, 5 evaluators. Wonderful stories is what we heard today in this particular meeting. I'm sure the days to come, this club will have more stories, and amazing stories that we are going to listen to. Okay, now let me take a few minutes to announce the results of the poll that we launched. We will not have the speaker today. Auxiliary role taker goes to, we have very less people who have voted for this. However, there is a huge majority for one particular role taker. I'm so happy for this. Toastmaster Shefali for the grammarian role. Please put your hands together and applaud for Toastmaster Shefali as grammarian who takes the ribbon today. Now, the best role taker goes to none other than our general evaluator, Toastmaster Dhwani. We didn't have to. Best role taker. Best evaluator. Let me go to that. Any guesses here? 5 evaluators. 20 out of 20 people have put their polls here. Who do you think is the best evaluator?
DTM Sourav.
DTM Sourav.
Who said that? Where is DTM Sourav?
DTM Sourav.
Is behind the curtains. Please put your hands together for the magic mentor, DTM Sourav. Are we missing anything else? Yes, the auxiliary role taker I have said already. We have had all the 4 ribbons today. Thank you so much. We had a wonderful meeting. The next meeting, the pre-charter, the first meeting after we are chartered, I suppose, would happen the next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. I declare the meeting closed. Thank you so much. But stay on. We have an interesting session coming up.
Good night, everyone.
The Gabbys.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
These members, no, don't be members of Gabbys, please stay back. We have the
Gabbys
members, please stay back.
Okay.
It's a business session. Guests, please.
Diana, thank you so much for joining. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Diana. Thank you.
Can we take a feedback from Dina before she says bye?
I would want to say one thing, that Diana also used the word of the day. We missed that.
Yes. And she messaged in the chat.
Yes. So
and Toastmaster Tarun also did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that she mentioned.
Toastmasters, Diona's message is there. I thought I'll read it out while we give a minute for members to join in for this business meeting. Serendipity. I feel that Toastmasters Club. I'm improving on my serendipity and powerful speech with disability so long as practice hard serendipity. I has lot of practice in front of my mirror to speech with body language or eye contact, the web camera on the Zoom. Serendipity, I know that Toastmasters Club with personal growth, serendipity that fires inside as a good speaker with Toastmasters. Thank you, Toastmasters, Madam Diana. Give her a big round of applause for using the word of the day so many times. Thank you, Diana. Thank you so much.
General body meeting.
Pradyumna is not a member, right? Pradyumna, we can have you next week. Please join us back next week. We are going to have a business meeting now for only the Gabbys members. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, sir. We need another 3-4 members, no, Sourav, for having the quorum.
Start. We have the quorum already. We will take the quorum offline. So the process is that if we don't have a quorum in the meeting, we can take the quorum later in electronic media. So
Okay.
we'll take the quorum later. We can just go ahead with the decisions.
Do we record this?
Yes, we will have to record this, but we'll have to close this and start.
Close this and start it again as a separate record.
Can you close this? Whoever is recording, Dhwani, I think is recording. Why did Dhwani leave?
I am here. I did not leave.
अच्छा ठीक है तो उसको recording बंद करो इसलिए that's what I wanted you to stop the recording इसलिए बुलाया.
Pause the record. Stop the recording.